Once again, it's time for another edition of Chat Made Me Watch This Reviews. Today, courtesy of Kratos, today on Chat Made Me Watch This Reviews, we have essentially a double feature. We had a double feature. I was tasked with watching the live action modern day adaptations. Well, two of them anyway. There's a third one out there, apparently. Of Paddington and Paddington 2. All right. When I was a kid, Paddington was, of course, put before me because that's part of, the childhood storybooks that one would read a child back in my day, my era, my ancient times. And I passed on it. Paddington and his Marmalade didn't resonate with me. I was more interested in having Star Wars and the Dark Crystal read over and over again to me as a kid. Much more interesting. So Paddington didn't make the cut. That being said, I have no beef with Paddington. I have no issues with Paddington. I have no interest in Paddington. It's a complete non-entity to me. So my Paddington lore ends when it was tried and failed upon. I didn't care. So I have, outside of the Marmalade and stuff like that, I have zero knowledge of Paddington. Now, of course, with 2014, the first Paddington movie, that's an adaptation modernized for a modern audience. And when I say modern audience, I do not mean the modern audience. I simply mean current day technology as the world existed in 2014, and then in 2017 when the sequel was put out, the second movie, because there's a third one. Bottom line, these are children's movies. These are made for kids. These are made for kids. These are not made for adults. These are made for families. This is made to take your kids to go see as a family movie. Overall, Paddington and Paddington 2 are essentially harmless movies. There's no agenda in them. There's no messaging. It's simply pushing the type of moral education, the good moral kind behavior that these stories, when they were written, were intended to pass on to children. Paddington Bear, Paddington comes from darkest Peru, where an explorer met two special breed of bear who were apparently had higher brain functioning power, able to learn English language and basically become anthropomorphized, become like humans. And he says, one day you can come and visit me in London, you'll be welcome there. Well, 40 odd years go by. These two other bears end up adopting Paddington when he's orphaned, and they raise him to be human-esque. And they're raised on marmalade and all that kind of stuff. The joke is marmalade, this and that, keep a sandwich in your hat, blah, blah, blah. There's a disaster in his home. Paddington's uncle dies, although you never see the body. It was an earthquake. And his aunt Lucy essentially sends him to London, to England, to find a family to live with, have a proper family, while she goes to the retirement for old bears home or some shit like that. Because apparently in this world, nobody's afraid of a talking bear. This is why I'm not going to sweat that, because this is a children's story. And in children's stories, people don't freak out over anthropomorphized characters. They're just accepted automatically so that you can move on with the story. And I accept that. So we're not going to critique it over the fact that nobody's freaking out that there are talking bears and that a talking bear arrives in London and gets into adventures. So the first movie is essentially Paddington trying to find his home. He gets picked up by the Brown family, and they, at first, the dad played by Hugh Laurie. One thing I was saying was these movies have incredible cast. Hugh Laurie, Peter Capaldi, Nicole Kidman, other great British actors of the time who are still active. It's got a packed ass cast, both movies. Hugh Grant's in the second movie as the villain. So the casts are great, but they're just phoning it in terms of they're having fun with it, but it's nothing. Their talent is portrayed in their ability to have fun with it, but they're not giving, epic performances here. These are not epic performances to take home. But and for the joke of it, just because we talk about it today, a lot of people who were in Doctor Who in these movies. A lot of people who made their way through Doctor Who in these movies. Anyway, including the Doctor himself, Peter Capaldi, who plays a piece of shit in both movies. So, first movie is essentially Paddington trying to find him a home, and the overall lesson is this was a family that didn't know it was in crisis. The father, who is an insurance salesman, a risk analysis, who is risk analyzing the whole life and not really paying attention to his family. A mother who is wrapped up in her own, who has such good intentions for a lot of stuff, but has problem connecting to her daughter, her children, even though she loves them very much. There's a lack of communication going on. A son whose creativity is being stifled by an overprotective father, and a daughter who is so afraid of the world making fun of her that she's closing herself off from it. And Paddington arrives and basically opens up their life to kindness and communication while running away from what turns out played by Nicole Kidman, who's too hot in this movie. In the first one, she's too hot. This is still Nicole Kidman in a very hot stage. I mean, this is a couple years after she made Just Go With It with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, where she was in the coconut bikini and she was smoking hot in that. There's only a couple years removed from that. She's still smoking hot. This is like peak hot Nicole Kidman, in my opinion. The super MILF cougar, Nicole Kidman. She's too hot in this movie. Sorry. Child's movie. What are you doing to me? Watching a kid's movie, Nicole Kidman in these tight outfits, titties out to here. What are you doing to me? Huh? Anyway, so Nicole Kidman turns out to be the daughter of the geographer who visited Darkest Peru and found Paddington's adopted aunt and uncle, and he ended up being discredited because he didn't bring them home for trophies. So it became her life's dream to capture these bears and stuff them. She's a taxidermist, and reclaim the honor, her family's honor in the society of geographers and that kind of stuff. So she's hunting Paddington the whole movie in goofy ways. And as I said, this movie it's not terrible, but have a good day or two. And it's not terrible, but the whole movie, first movie is an hour 35 minutes. Second movie is an hour 48 minutes. The first movie is essentially one silly event of Paddington interacting with human society after another, while being chased by Nicole Kidman and while teaching the lessons of kindness to the Brown family, who eventually will, of course, adopt him. And that's kind of it. They save him when he's kidnapped by when he gets almost taxidermed. Is that even a word? I don't know. When he gets captured by Nicole Kidman, stuff like that. They save him. She ends up she gets community service at a jail. It's all literal children's happy ending stuff. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody dies. Everybody learns a lesson. And all the relationships improve. I mean, that's the first movie. But it's essentially one series of goofy events to another. And that's what it is. And the second movie, I don't know if the second movie is based on any sort of story or adaptation, but the second movie is it's a couple years later. Paddington has made everybody's lives beautiful and nice because now the whole neighborhood loves him because he knows everybody by name. And it's his Aunt Lucy's birthday, and he wants to get her a book that will essentially make her feel like she visits London, because she's never gotten to visit London with her dream, but could never do it, too old. And then the uncle died, and then she just got Paddington down there. And so Paddington wants to earn money to pay for the book, but because it costs a bunch of money. It's a rare one-of-a-kind book. Problem is, it turns out that Hugh Grant's character is a failed actor who understands that the book is actually a treasure map to some old dancers' loot that she hid after she was murdered by maybe it was the ancestor. I don't know, I didn't pick up on that or not. And essentially, Paddington gets blamed for the theft of the book, even though everybody involved with it said he didn't do it. But the court decides to convict him anyway because the judge didn't like him and the police were angry at him. And Paddington goes to jail. Meanwhile, the Brown family are all having their own little mini crises. Papa Brown is having a midlife crisis. The mother is having, again, some... she's having creative block. The daughter is having her own crisis. The son is having her own crisis. They're all little modern-day crises, but they all get pushed aside when Paddington gets thrown in jail, and they're all working to save him. And then while he's in jail, Paddington meets a bunch of criminals and turns them into good guys. Meanwhile, the hunt for Hugh Laurie as the thief goes on and eventually culminates in a big, as Paddington and the criminals escape prison and the prisoners leave him behind. But then because he taught them how to be good people and how to be nice, they come back to help him in the end in a train chase scene for all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's once again one scene of Paddington interacting with human society after another in comical moments and teaching the lessons and teaching people how to be kind and not be assholes. It's just teaching these lessons to kids. It's perfectly harmless, but it's in an overall for both movies, it's done in a very, in my opinion, dumbed down way. It's not done with any particular creativity. It's not done with any sort of pizzazz. Once again, packed cast who are just having fun, but not really giving breakout performances. They're just kind of doing stereotype performances of who they are and what the characters are. I mean, Hugh Grant is over the top chewing scenery. One of his obsessions is he has essentially a multiple personality where he's got a whole room full of his old costumes that he played as an actor, and he talks to himself as those characters. And that's Hugh Grant being great, but it's silly because it's a silly children's movie. It's not to be taken seriously. And he gets caught in the end, and he goes to prison where he gets a one-man show, and all I ever needed was a captive audience. and even the criminals get pardoned. I mean, it's all just happy stuff, and it ends, of course, with Paddington being exonerated, but he still didn't get his Aunt Lucy the gift. But then everybody in the neighborhood whose lives are made brighter by Paddington existing, they chipped in and brought Aunt Lucy to London so she can get the experience she wanted all her life and be reunited with Paddington and a nice happy ending. And that's it. These movies are nice, they're safe, they're simple, but they're just silly kid family movies. And I mean, if you're gonna watch it with your kids, go ahead. I'd let a kid sit down and watch. If I had a kid, I'd let him watch this. I didn't find them particularly funny. You know, I thought the humor was bland. I thought the sight gags were very drawn out. I thought the characters were rather boring overall. Well performed, but boring. And that's it. That's Paddington 1 and 2. I don't much else have to say. And I wasn't asked to compare it to The Room, so I can. Of course, they would be better than The Room because they have actual stories and are well performed. But it's now the CGI. I guess Omar, the CGI it's a CGI fest with Paddington constantly. Whole movie CGI'd, and it's okay. It's not groundbreaking. They get the job done. So there we go. It teaches kids proper lessons in a day and age where they're not. But this was back 2014, 2017. I don't know what the third one did. I don't know if the third one went in the wrong direction at all. I can't say. I cannot say. Maybe I'll be made to do it. I don't know. It's up to Kratos or somebody else. I will not willingly watch Paddington 3. So there you go. There's my review. Chat, maybe watch this reviews. Paddington 1 and 2. I hope I was fair in my discussion of it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.